Environment is the silent force behind all human behavior.
Real estate it's a relationship based industry. Like it's all about who you know.
Is the biggest decision that you're going to make in your life is who you're going to become.
You have to start and you have to go through those experiences to learn.
A business is the greatest personal development course you'll ever take.
I think information without context is typically meaningless.
The quality of your brokerage is a direct reflection of how many great people you have within it.
Relationships have taken me farther than anything I could ever point to in my entire life.
Remember this, judgment's the enemy of influence.
What's up, everybody? Grant Wise here. Welcome back to the Partner and Profit Podcast. I am pumped for my conversation today. I'm going to introduce you guys to Mr. Dustin Runyon. Dustin, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me. I told you before, I was like, there's 5 years where I couldn't open my phone and not see your face. Like you're the marketing guru of all marketing gurus. So we've hung out before in person, obviously, but it's good to hang out here and have a conversation with you. Appreciate you having me on.
And I'm pumped, and I've sat and I've listened to you speak, watched a lot of your social content, and I've talked very highly of you privately. Now I get to kind of give you some flowers to your face. You seem to have such a eloquent grasp on human psychology and high performance and business and those types of things. So I'm really pumped for the conversation today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I am too.
For those that maybe don't know who you are, just give us a little bit of the background, man. How'd you get to where you are today?
Yeah, I grew up in a small town. I graduated with a 1.6 GPA. I was 333 out of 335 graduating class. And I started real estate in 2008. And we started in the short sale game out in Phoenix, Arizona. And we did about 250 short sales in, I don't know, about a 3-year period. And I ended up coming down back to my hometown to run a Keller Williams. And the interesting thing that I figured out was I had started at an independent brokerage. So we had no training, no education, no anything. It was fascinating because I was naive. I was 25 years old. I didn't know who I was. Like, I didn't know what I wanted. But I had come back down to this Keller Williams where they had given all the training, all the education, everything you needed to succeed. And there was still grown adults failing. And it wasn't judgment. It was just observation on my part, right? Where I was just like, how is this a thing? And so that became my obsession with human psychology, which was just like, how are people given everything that they need to succeed and still fail? From there, that became my obsession. I got obsessed with business. Business saved my life. It's like, a place where, a degenerate who didn't like authority could go and thrive, it's rewarded in business, right? When you go against the grain.
Yes.
And so ran that Keller Williams as a team leader for 5 years. We grew it, over 500+%, and then started my own team. Last year, we did about 900 transactions, 250 of them commercial. We partnered with a bunch of people in different states and developers in different states. And then we also launched a development company about 6 years ago with my partner, Andrew Oxley. And we have 1,200 acres under development right now. We build subdivisions, and we do raw land to infrastructure, to grading, paving. We curbs all the way to vertical, building homes. And so, yeah, man, that's where we're at today.
That is fascinating. Now, I have a couple of questions I want to dive into on partnerships. But before I do, you said something there that I want to go back on. You said you got very intrigued trying to figure out why people that had the plan, didn't act on it or were failing. What did you discover? Getting hyper fixated on, human psychology and performance. I'm fascinated to know, what have you found?
I got given a book by like someone who had lived right next to me in a dorm, not a dorm, but it's a dorm setting in an apartment complex out in Tempe. And he gave me this book called Never Eat Alone. I had never read it. I just kept it. It was an orange book. And it basically was purposeful networking, like show up to events, show up to places, and get in relationship with the right people. Like if you're going to go to a place, make sure the right people are going to be there, be prepared to have the conversation, be prepared to ask the questions, be prepared. And it ended up being a great book. But during that time, I was going to a team leader boot camp, and this guy named Gene Frederick was throwing the team leader boot camp. And he's a real estate legend today. Yeah. And I showed up 2 hours early to converse with him. And from that book, it took me like 4 years to read the book, but from that book, I showed up early. When I showed up, he started talking to him, asking questions, right? And he's like, I went to ASU. I'm like, oh, shoot, you went to ASU? I used to be in Tempe and blah, blah, blah. Had an hour-long conversation with the guy. And at the beginning of the class, he's like, I'm going to be giving away a lot of books today. First question, what school did I go to? And I raised my hand. And I go, ASU. And he gave me a John Wooden book on leadership. And it just talked about behavior inside of it. And so I got obsessed with books, and I was like, I can change my behavior. Like I can change who I am. And so I started reading a lot. I got into neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. I got into reading just tons of books on human psychology, whether it was Carl Jung, Sigmund Freud, reading a lot of like biology of belief and how our literally our cells have beliefs constructed inside of them and how it's actually, it's psychological, but also physical. I studied that question forever. And it's not just a simple answer, but one of the things I found out was environment is the silent force behind all human behavior. It's funny because we talk about this often, which is like who you decide to spend your time with.
Yeah.
But I often use this as an example, which is, say I'm coaching somebody and they can't get they're not doing the things they need to be doing. I said, if I moved in with you for 30 days, would you do what you needed to do? Yeah. So number one is the biggest decision that you're going to make in your life is who you're going to become.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of it is based on identity. Identity is based on a few things. Number one, what you want. Number two, the values that you hold within yourself. Number three, the principles that you decide to live by. Most people live by emotion-based life instead of a principle-based life. And that's the difference between a child and an adult. A child lives based off emotions. They're chasing feelings. And chasing positive emotion in your life in itself is a negative experience. Learning to grow through what people would call negative emotions in itself is a positive experience. Like when you don't feel like getting up in the morning, but you get up. You don't feel like making the call, but you make the call. You don't feel like going to the gym, but you go to the gym. And so these negative emotions, oftentimes people wait for the right emotion to take action.
Yeah.
And so it's principle-based life is what I found winners really win. It wasn't situation, circumstance, events, or feelings. It was a decision was what shaped their life. And then third was action. So action is what curates belief. Action is what takes the principle and puts it into your blood, right? If you see someone that teaches stuff but doesn't live it,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't put it into their blood. It was funny. Friedrich Nietzsche has this statement on one of the books I read back in the day, which was he used to call teachers, and nothing against teachers, by the way, but he had this critical stance on teachers that they were bloodless, which means they didn't live out what they said they believed.
Okay. Yeah.
People that were elite, they knew exactly what they wanted. They knew their values. They knew the principles by getting mentorship or partnership or getting in with somebody who had done what it is they're looking to do. They took action, and then those actions became beliefs. Because a belief, when you're not getting what you want, is a poor substitute for an experience. So the way to shift your entire identity is to give yourself an experience that disinvalidates old beliefs that limited you. And then the other thing was to get into environments that support what it is you want. See, poor people are impulsive about big decisions and overthink little ones.
Mm-hmm.
Rich people underthink little decisions and they think about big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many people just get into a marriage like that because of insecurity, right? I would say the number one most important decision you'll make is who you're going to be. The second most important decision you're going to make is who you're going to spend your life with.
100%.
Because that's your environment,
Yeah.
right? That's who you're around the most. And so you get a lot of people that get into relationships with people they don't respect.
Yeah.
So they get in contempt. It's the number one reason of divorce today is contempt, right? We grew apart or irreconcilable differences, which just means like, I no longer respect this person. So if you live with someone that you respect, you'll do things that you know you need to do when you don't feel like doing them, because there's this implied accountability inside of the relationship.
Yeah.
Right. And then third is making sure that you're joining communities or getting in, you decide your friends and who you allow to influence you. There's that old, I believe it was like Jim Rohn, which is stand guard at the gates of your mind. What you let in is incredibly important. And so, environment, who you decide to spend time with, and really being aligned with what it is that you want in your life, with your mission, your values, your principles, your actions, and your beliefs, which is what shifts your identity. Because the strongest force in the human psychology is the need to stay aligned with what it believes it is. Right. So if you believe something's hard, you'll find a way to make it hard. The brain is a heat-seeking missile.
Yep.
So it's a data collector. So whatever you believe, you'll be right. It's that old Henry Ford, right? Whether you can or you can't, it's this more simple take on it. You're right. I teach people this. I'm like, you ever been in a fight with your wife, an argument with your wife? I go, yeah. And I go, in that moment, can't you remember every little thing that they ever did wrong? Right? Because the brain wants to be right about her being wrong.
Yes.
And so it will collect the data to justify and make that thing right. And then it goes back into also like, how you were raised and where you were raised. And people either model or react to what they saw as a child.
I would imagine a lot of what you're saying today has, and you'll have to tell me, if it has or hasn't, but it's almost made you just kind of like an expert at identifying people that you want to partner with or people you want to be in a relationship, because real estate is it's a relationship based industry. Like it's all about who you know. And I'm fascinated by that. Do you take what you've learned about human behavior and really apply that to who you choose to go into business with?
1,000%. And what I try to create is models, because models allow for a system and a process as a way to kind of refine. Because I want to
Hmm.
duplicate results, right? Even if you wing it and you get a result, if you look back consciously, you'll see that you had a strategy that worked.
Hmm.
And so 100%, whenever I look into partnerships, I have a system that I follow. So I have like three things that I look for in partnering with somebody. But the number one thing that I look for, and it's not even close, is values.
Yeah.
Values is number one. If you look at any relationship with a husband and wife that's lasted a long period of time, it's because they had similar and or aligned values, and or they had values that they respected in the other.
Is
So
this something that you talk to somebody to discover? Or is it something that you watch to see how they live?
So three things that I really look at when I'm looking to partner with somebody. Okay, and it was different back in the day. Now that I'm where I am today, I'm able to be a little bit more selective. So
Right.
the number one thing I look at is how do they live their life?
Hmm.
What does their lifestyle look like? What are they into? That's the psychographics of a human being.
Hmm.
Do you stay up late and party? Are you one of those types of people? Do you take care of your health and wellness? Do you have integrity? When I look at your lifestyle, and who you spend your time with and who you decide to spend your time with, I always meet with the spouse. So the spouse is huge. What they think of their husband, I ask their questions. What's really good is when I'm either partnering with a husband or wife, whoever it may be, you bring their spouse in and start asking their spouse about the questions you ask them, and you see if they're aligned, right? Because this is what, when you get pulled, if you ever get pulled over and, you and your accomplice, if you're committing a
Yeah.
crime, what the first thing that the police officers do is split you up.
Yeah.
And they ask you the exact same questions to see if they stay aligned.
Mm.
Right. Another way of doing that. And so obviously if I'm getting into business, we do background checks on people that I'm actually coming into real business with. But I look at their lifestyle. The second thing I look at is their values. What's important to them. You
Hmm.
know, I try to partner with wholesome people, people that want to better their life, want to better their situation. There's really three cores. Is number one's personal responsibility. Number two is personal development. Like you have to be in developing yourself. Like I love it when someone's like, "Oh, I'm not into that shit." What are you into then?
Yeah.
Because all development is building.
Yeah.
So when we develop homes or develop a subdivision, we're creating and we're building. So if you're not into self-development, you're not into building yourself up and building yourself to be who you were, destined to become. And so someone's like, I'm working on my relationship. I go, great. What book are you reading on it? Who's your coach? Who's your counselor? Who are you getting, And then third is contribution. Because when you're around people that have that spirit of contribution, they really want everyone to win. It's
Hmm.
not this take. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? So those are the three core values that I look for when I partner with somebody. And then thirdly is, do you have past results? Like
Yeah.
I'm not looking anymore for projects. I'm looking for players.
Hmm.
I want to partner with somebody who's a player. And I always tell people, if you are a project, it's the only way that you can impress a player is by outworking them.
Can you
Those
define
are
that a
those are
little, can you define that a little bit when you say, I'm not looking for projects anymore, I'm looking for players? Well, what's the difference in a project and what's the difference in a player?
I'm at a point in my life where you have lessons to learn in your life, but you're not going to learn them here.
Mm.
So, you know what I mean? I need you to
Got it.
be further along in your development.
Got it.
Now,
Got it.
in
Got it.
my
So
in
the
my real estate,
person themselves is not a project that needs to be worked on, so to speak, is what you're saying.
I just need them further along in their development. We're all
Yeah.
projects that we need to be worked on, right?
Right.
But what defines a project and a player is results.
Got it.
So, do you have past results? Like
Got it.
Grant Wise has past results. Like you have done it. You know what you're doing. You have past results. You have successes that you can, you know,
Hmm.
you can properly explain. And even in my real estate team, I look for that.
Yeah.
I'll take on a little bit more projects there, but in my real estate team, when I bring somebody on, like I had a gal, she was the manager at Wells Fargo. She had left her town. She moved to New Mexico. She went to college. She then moved herself from New Mexico to San Diego. Then she moved herself back to Arizona, all while moving up in Wells Fargo. And her parents helped her with zero of it
Mm.
financially. That's
Yeah.
success. Like moving state to state to state while increasing your job role is
100%.
impressive while supporting yourself financially by yourself as, a,
Hmm.
s- a s- a single woman, she now runs all of our developments.
Yeah.
That was a story I had, 10 years ago.
That's
So,
epic. Is Have you always had this? Because something that I've noticed is when I talk to high performance people or people that are playing the game at a high level and have had a lot of success,
Mhm.
they seem to have a system and a process for new relationships, new partnerships, new ventures, those types of things. Is that something that
Mhm.
you've always had, or is it just like you made enough mistakes along the way that you kind of like got good at trying to figure out,
Yeah.
what you needed?
All the mistakes in the world, brother.
Yeah.
Like all the mistakes in the world. Even right now, at our development right now, they didn't grind out one of the floors, so the tile's a little flat, and we over trusted. So I would say, like, sometimes when you get really busy in business, you got a lot going on. One of the defaults of the subconscious mind is to over trust,
Mm,
because over trusting takes it off your plate. You get to delete it off your mind, right? So you
right.
stop inspecting what you expect. And so we have to go back and so no, I've made all the mistakes. Like, I've partnered with the wrong people. I brought in the wrong investors. We raised a lot of private capital. We've raised $120 million, and then we've said yes to the wrong money,
Mm,
because our values weren't aligned. So now when we come bring an investor in, we start them off with these little investments. We start them off with, like, basically like hard money, deed,
yeah.
underwrite the loans and do that for them to where we can get them a check every month to see what it's like to work with them before we get them into a 5 year, development of 200 acres. And it's,
Yeah.
$5 million that they're in with us. So, no, it was through all the mistakes
Mm.
was the main key.
I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is like you have to start and you have to go through those experiences to learn. Like it's really like the tax on success. You have to do it. You're going to pay in some way. You've got to have the relationship, or you've got to have the thing. You've got to have the experience. You've got to, try the marketing ploy, or you've got to do the sales tactic. Like, you've got to do it. You can't
Mhm.
just skate past it. I'm seeing so many people are trying to skip, and I think, it's 2026. I was saying the same thing in 2016. Like, so many
Yeah.
people are trying to skip step D to get to step Z, and it's like, especially with AI, everybody's just like, oh, great, I've got this thing that can just work for me. It's, nah.
Yeah. What happens when you get it quick is you don't build tenacity and you don't build habits. And
Hmm.
so it's like, you go back to the lottery. It's like the only people that's kept the money that have won the lottery are people that were already rich.
Yeah,
So they already had the habits in store.
100%.
And so what you're looking to do is the reason why you're doing, like, I always say a business is the greatest personal development course you'll ever take.
100%.
It'll expose every ounce of your psychology. It'll expose every ounce of your beliefs, of
One
your
of
core
the
construct on who you believe you
greatest
are.
spiritual experiences I've ever had in my life.
It's so true. It's so true. And if you're in business listening to this, you know what we're talking
Exactly
about.
what we're talking about.
And if you're listening to this and you're just getting started, the mistakes are what make you. The
Yeah.
the greatest lessons that you'll learn in business is when you don't get what you want.
Hmm.
Because it's like, I always say, people are like, a lot of people get in business. I just don't feel challenged in my other career. And I go, well, I got an experience for you.
Hmm.
And you have to stretch yourself and you have to push yourself beyond what your limits are. And the only way to do that, the only less like, and you get to a point, Grant, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, where information's great, but information, once you get to a certain level in business, no longer is like, that's no longer the thing that allows you to make these like giant leaps or these big leaps.
Hmm.
It's really just action, learn, pivot, action, learn, pivot, action, learn, pivot, action, learn, pivot. And then it's relationships.
Mm.
So, like, the way you take decades into days is getting with the right people and partnering
100%.
with the right people, right?
100%.
I always say anymore it's like information isn't really going to change my life a whole lot through, like, just like reading things. I still read and I still, sharpen the mind. Action's going to teach me 20 times more than anything I'll ever read in a book.
I think information without context is typically meaningless.
Amen.
But then still, when you get the right piece of information, you have to go do the thing to learn. Yes, it worked. No, it didn't. Okay, it works, but I have to do this thing. I can't tell you in marketing, which is my thing, it's like it's nonstop failure. Like 98% of the stuff doesn't work, but you don't know that until you test. You have to test and iterate and test and iterate. My job is to make really complex ideas really easy to understand and desirable. And it just doesn't happen. Like, as much as I want everything to work on the first try, it typically doesn't. Like, it's just not the way that it's not the way that it goes down. So I couldn't agree
Yeah.
more. I'm curious, what for you, like how have the right partnerships and right relationships helped you grow the business side of it? Is it getting new customers? Is it strategic partnerships to create leverage in the business? Like what is the specific way that this has helped you guys grow and scale the businesses you've got?
Yeah, I'm not focused. This is going to sound awful, but I'm not overtly focused on the consumer. I'm really focused on finding the right people and getting in business with the right people. And if I treat them well and I lead them well and I share the vision well and I connect with them on a deeper level, not just this like surface level BS, the customer will get taken care of.
Yeah.
It's a byproduct of having the right people inside your organization. And so, even early on when I started my team, real even at a brokerage, it's like your brokerage, the quality of your brokerage is a direct reflection of how many great people you have within it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the logo of the brokerage is great or whatever, but I'm with my
Right.
brokerage because of the people that are in it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you talked to Kevin Kaufman, I saw today.
Yeah.
He's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Kevin has put me in rooms I didn't deserve to be on, stages I shouldn't have been speaking on. He put me on before I believed in myself. I always said this, I wanted to be the person Kevin thought I was.
Yeah.
Before I
Love it.
had any of this, he believed in me. And so partnering with him, and then my director of operations, he ran an ambulance company out in California where it was actually emergencies and actually
Yeah.
real regulations. Like real estate's easy compared to that. And then everybody I've worked with today from my investors, I've Mark Lindsay, he's a billionaire, and I called him 47 times. He's allowed for us to do 100 years of work in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's putting us in partnerships with people that I rooms I didn't even know. I'm waiting for a governor's signature today, and I wouldn't have had that without him. I wouldn't know you without Kevin because I
Mm-hmm.
met John Cheplack through Kevin,
Yep.
and Kevin is my partner. And if I didn't met John, I would never have met you because you're part of the Cheplack community. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know what I mean? It's like I did none of this on my own.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as self-made.
I think that's a lot of people don't like. If there is a hack, like it's people. It's just like getting to know
It's
the right
people.
people. Yeah, relationships have taken me farther than anything I could ever point to in my entire life. Like and I came up really strong on Facebook advertising and other social advertising strategies. I was able to rocket to what I felt like was the top of the, for me at least, in the specific niche that I served in the real estate industry. But it got to a point where that, like, I'd hit a ceiling with it, and it's like, okay, no, it's no longer, how much money can I spend on Facebook ads? It's how many people can I get in a relationship that are going to connect me to other people that are going to help grow. And a lot of what we do at comarketing.com, it's 100% relational. That's the way that the business is designed to grow. And so it's fascinating. What do you think makes a good partnership? Because you can do a lot of work identifying the right people to get into a relationship with, but what makes or breaks a lot of really successful partnerships in business?
Contempt is the number one thing that breaks relationships and partnerships in business.
Contempt, right? That's what
And
you said. Contempt.
contempt,
Yeah.
yeah, you lose respect for the other person. And
Mm.
so, and you don't respect the qualities in them that you may not have. So I used to try to make everybody like me when I was younger.
Hmm.
And I used to judge everybody who wasn't like me, even my spouse in our second year. I'm like, gosh, she just doesn't like, I want to go a million miles an hour. Let's go now, 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 now. Now. And she has this patience to herself.
Hmm.
And she's got this joy that's just natural. Like I have to work so hard to be happy, like I got to read friggin' 50 books a year. I got to go to all the development stuff. I got to friggin', gratitude every morning. I got to do all this stuff to be happy. And she's just naturally joyful. She finds the good in everything. And she's so patient and she goes with the flow. And it's like, I had to learn to love these things in her that I wasn't.
Mm.
And through that, we've became this like beautiful blend where I'm a million miles an hour and she's the wind under my wings. Like she's just so supportive and so loving. And she has this blind trust. She just finds the good in everything. There's a really good song that I love. And that one of the lyrics is the only bad she's ever done was to see the only bad she's ever done. I forget exactly what it was, but she the bad things in me, she sees good. And so same thing in my partnerships, like that I have is I'm not detail oriented, right? So everyone that surrounds me, I don't put one person around me that isn't not hyper focused on details. Performance anxiety. They have to get every little speck right,
Hmm.
everything dialed in. I'm surrounded by those analytical minds, the
Yeah.
engineer minds. So that's huge. But what makes it work is, a shared vision. for the mission. We're crystal clear on the mission, what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and we share it and we believe in it wholly. Second is our values. We have similar values. Do you value integrity over money? Do you value contribution over taking? When we mess up, like we messed up on some of these houses, like do we go back and do the right thing or do you justify it? My partner's like, we're going to fix all this and we're going to get it dialed in. We're going to do it right. And we're going to learn from this and we're not going to overtrust. We're going to inspect what we expect and we're going to create a system and process where it doesn't happen again moving forward.
Mm.
So aligned in the vision and the mission, aligned in the values, and then mutual respect for each other's the traits and qualities. And that was a big one that I even had in my business where people would always, I'd hire someone and or partner someone. They always like, Dustin, I need you to focus on this. And they were trying to get me off of the things that I was the best at, right? Trying to get me more detailed. And then I'd be trying to get the detailed people more vision based. And so a good relationship is when there's that mutual respect, a shared vision, and there's clear communication on what the expectations of each other are. And both of you are executing on those things.
Mm.
Because and another thing to understand in a partnership too is someone's always going to be leading.
Mm-hmm.
Always, right? There's seasons in business and there's seasons in life.
Yeah.
And so you have to respect that too. And you got to know when to let the other person lead. And you have to know when you need to lead. And you can't judge the other person. Someone's always going to be doing more than the other person.
Right.
Right? There's seasons of that. Like in development, in the beginning, I'm doing a lot. I'm raising all the capital with my partner. The engineer's not doing very much.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the project, the engineer and the construction guys they're doing all of it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I'm doing all of it because I'm selling all of it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to respect those seasons with each other and learn that there is that flow to it, to not operate out of judgment, to operate out of observation, and then learn to communicate and turn hard conversations into normal conversations.
I think it's something a lot of people try to shy away from is the conflict, the hard conversation.
Yep. And that's why core value number one, personal responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
right? I brought it up to my partner. I go, hey man, with the slope on the back of these pavers, it's puddling up. He's like, okay, we got to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
See if he's like, whoa, gosh, that's the other guy or this guy or that guy, and he pushes it off. It's like now we're into justification. It's like let's just handle the problem, move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not about
Doesn't
us.
matter
This is
whose
bigger than
fault
us.
it is or whose problem it is. Let's just fix it. Yeah.
Let's fix it. And the willingness to do so is important.
Yeah. All right. So first thing, the lyrics, Zach Bryan's song, "The only bad you've
Yes.
ever done was to see the good in me."
That is it.
For everybody, it's like, what is that song? I know it. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's the song. That's the song. That's like when I think of my wife, I'm like, gosh, that's the only bad you've done. You're such a saint. And I tried to change her for so long instead of loving her for who she is. Remember this, judgment's the enemy of influence. If you're listening, you can't influence somebody you judge.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how hard it is to change you. You think you're going to change somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
The only way to do is to lead with love, to lead with acceptance, to ask questions of accountability and curiosity, and to support people in that. And so, and by the way, if you try to change too many people in your life, maybe they're not the right partner for you. So the best partners I've had, I haven't had to change.
Mm-hmm.
I've just given them a space to just shine in who they are.
It's really important to do because everybody is uniquely gifted at something. It's just finding that thing in people and then putting them in the environment to do it. And it can create some magical things. For people that are sitting here listening to this is like, why would I want to pursue partnerships as a growth strategy, in life or business? What would you say to them?
Oh my gosh, dude. I don't believe in anything more. It is and I'm not saying that like, I didn't honestly know we were going to talk about partnerships today, truthfully.
Yeah.
So just being transparent, but I would not be who I am today. I wouldn't have 1/100th of what I have going on today without partnerships, without getting in with the right people. I look at this all the time. I mean, you can look at like any like top guy, Jensen, who's NVIDIA, he owns, I don't know what percentage, but it's like, 13%. Elon owns like 20 something percent, 30 something percent of Tesla. Like, even when it comes to like partnering with people and companies, it's just fast forward. Isolation is what they do to like criminals. And I see people that just like want to isolate themselves and be this like lone soldier and do it all by themselves. And I'm like, and they wonder why they're in a funk all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I come to the office, I partner with all these amazing people. It fires me up. It's energetic. Like it's amazing. I think a lot of people don't want to partner to the avoidance of accountability. Because one of the great things of accountability, of my partnerships, is the accountability. I no longer have a choice
Right.
whether I wake up and do what I need to do. I've put myself in a situation that demanded it.
Yeah.
It's not suggestive, right? And so, and then partnerships with just different companies that we've worked with, and partnerships with subcontractors, and partnerships with different companies in my real estate team, whether it's vendors or, we've just got so many great people, or a title company or mortgage company, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's the best. Like I always said this, like all of our partners come to our team meetings, even if we're not on paper partnered.
Yeah.
We bring them all into our culture. Like you wouldn't know a difference of whether they were with a different company or not because of how important it is to me. And I just believe in people
Yeah.
a lot.
You can go fast alone, but you can go far together. So I
Oh
could
my
not agree
God.
more. Yeah, I could not agree more. And dude, I could sit here and talk to you all day, and I want to
Yeah,
respect your time.
same.
I'm wondering, how can we partner with you? What's important to you right now? How could the people who listen to this walk alongside you and support you?
Man, there's two types of people in the world, and you're either a warning or you're an example.
Hmm.
And I keep it that simple, very, very much so of how marketing is. And this is what I found about the elite too, like yourself, Grant, which is they take these complex things and they make them very simple. If you look at the SpaceX, I think it's the Falcon rocket. If you look at the rocket, their first iteration to their third or
Yeah,
fourth
pretty wild.
iteration,
Pretty wild.
it's insane. All they did was, how do we take this complex thing and just simplify it, right?
Yeah,
And it's like, the idiot admires complexity, the genius admires simplicity. And so with me, it's like I just look for wholesome, really good people who have great values, who take responsibility, who want to get better every single day, who want to contribute to the lives of other people, and who are doing everything they can to win in their life for themselves and for others. I believe we go out this, especially if you have a family, is like you get into business so you can create security and experiences for the people that you love that they otherwise wouldn't have without you.
hmm,
And you have a business and you grow it so that you can create opportunities for other people so that they can create security and experiences for the people that they love that they otherwise wouldn't have without them.
hmm.
I like to partner with people who just want to be a walking, talking example, where their words and their feet. In fact, I look for people where their feet, their words could never do what their feet are doing. What they're doing in their life and their business and with their family and their friends and the results that they're creating in their life, they're bigger than words. It
Yeah,
supersedes any word you can use. But I'm always open. I want people that their words and their feet match.
that's awesome. I love it. All right. If you guys are listening to this, make sure I'm going to link up, Dustin, the ways that everybody can connect with you, and if they know people
Yeah,
that would be great fits to
cool.
partner and walk alongside you. If you know somebody, or if you just want to connect with Dustin, I highly encourage you guys to do it. Follow him across social. He is putting out just dime after dime on social media, really quality content, and man, he'll show you how to do it. And I know some people as well that he's personally coached that are just unbelievably successful. So, man, I appreciate you. This has
Let me
been,
ask you this before we go.
yeah.
What are the top three things that you look for in people that you that you let into your life, whether it's personally, whether it's in your business, or whether it is in that you allow into your realm? What are the top three things you look for?
I love connecting with people that are working towards something. So I love builders, like people that are building something. My whole life is entrepreneurship, and so it's just you're always building something. You're taking complex problems and you're solving them. And so I love jamming with people that are working on something, that are building something. It's just the personality, I think, of a builder is so fascinating. And I can sit down and, like I said, I could sit here and talk to you all day. I'm sure we probably could if we tried.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't feel like it took all day because we're
No.
working on cool stuff and we want to talk about it. And so I love working with people that are excited and are building something that's so fun to me. And I love interacting with high integrity people, like you said. People's feet matches their mouth. They're out there working and they're doing it. One of the things that I love in partnerships is when you're working with somebody that they said that they would do something, you just know it's going to get done. And it's absolutely one of my favorite things in the whole world. And I love working with people that are people of faith. It seems to me that people that have a very intense faith, they just hold themselves to a standard. Like you talk about implied accountability. And there's this standard that people hold themselves to when they believe in something bigger than themselves. I probably could go on point after point, like people that care more about serving other people than they do themselves. Like there's a lot of really big things that stand out to me. But those definitely are the top three traits I think that are really important to me. People that I have in my life that I hold near and dear, they definitely embody those.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that a
Thanks for
lot.
asking.
Appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that. And you're so right about builders. It's funny. I I will my wife, she was like, I golf as on the weekends, and I try to go to the nicer courses.
Yeah.
Like I try to spend the extra, if it's $500, great. And and I try to only go with me and a buddy because we always get paired with somebody.
Yep.
And at those courses that you get paired with these people that are doing crazy things in their lives,
Yeah.
and it's so worth it. Like I met the attorney that represented Kobe in the crash, and I met Ted Bigos, who owns 15,000 units, apartment units.
That's
So I'm with you. It's so exciting to talk to people who are excited about what they're doing in life, and
100%.
integrity and wholesomeness. You believe in something bigger than you, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful. So respect to you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really appreciate it. It's fascinating. People are fascinating. I think when you open your mind and you connect. I'm an introverted guy, actually. I'm one of those introverted extroverts. You put me in a room with 5 people, I'm probably not going to say a word. You put me on a stage with 5,000, I'm going to crush. So like, I can't explain that to anybody, but it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know why it's
Yeah.
like that. But when you get around the right people and you just know, like it clicks.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll make sure that everybody can connect with you. I appreciate you so much for spending some time with me today. This means a lot.
Thank you so much, Grant. Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, yeah. And thank you all for continuing to listen to the Partner Profit Podcast. I know you got your money's worth today. I'll see you all on the next episode. Peace.